NEGRIL Education Environment Trust is a nonprofit organization based in Jamaica. Neet is launched in 2003 by entrepreneur Winston Wellington, who witnessed what the lack of access was to educational resources was doing to the home country, Jamaica. Starting in the garage of the New York home, Wellington would, of course, collect books and computers to help friends and neighbors to ship them back to Jamaica through our friends at Dennis Shipping, who graciously ship books and other environments and computers free of cost. Since then, we have built over 17 libraries across the country and provided books and computers for each. Today, Neet is committed to strengthening the social fabric of Jamaica through programs that expand educational access for our children and adults, partnerships that address our public and environmental health, and events and activities that celebrate Jamaica's rich heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you earlier that today's guest will be, of course, none other than Mr. Winston Wellington, Chairman, NEGRIL Education Environment Trust, Neet, and Governor General's Award, honoree for Marcus Garvey Lifetime Achievement Awards, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Winston Wellington. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening, and greetings to everyone out there in Radio Land. It's a wonderful pleasure being here, and thank you for having me.
It's a wonderful pleasure indeed, and we do appreciate you taking the time, sir, to, of course, make this a great interview what it's going to be tonight. Now, Mr. Wellington, I see here, I read your bio and the great things that you've done in, of course, the entire diaspora, the world, and Jamaica, and your aim is all about education. Education, especially to help prevent crime. I mean, how did you come up with this idea as a young boy growing up in Westmoreland, Jamaica?
As a matter of fact, I actually grew up in Kingston, and I'm really not from Westmoreland, but however, I came up from very, very humble beginnings, growing up there. The only time I wore shoes is when I'm going to church or school. So I came from that background, and when I look around and saw so many others who have so much and so many others who have so little, I said if I ever got in a position, I make sure that I look out for those who are less fortunate than myself. Hence, maybe starting this organization when I could in 2003.
And that's a wonderful thing because we see how far you have grown with the program and the impact that it had on children. Now, what makes you focus so much on children? There's so many other opportunities out there and sectors that you could have done. Why children?
Yeah, because, of course, the key is education. And as you know, children are the future of our country, the future of this world. And I particularly chose children between the age of 9 and 14, that vulnerable age where they can make the wrong decision. Mm-hmm. And I also utilized the advent of having their parents there with me. So our tablet program is about children coming to our Saturday morning classes with a parent. Every child must come with a parent. And that's what our tablet class is all about on a Saturday morning, where I teach the 4 pillars of success, which are honesty, punctuality, a good attitude, and discipline. And every child and parent has to get this 100%.
And it's a wonderful thing because you set the program up to, of course, educate not only children, but their parents. The more days you see is just parents sending their children to school, but in this sector here, you want to make sure that the parents also know and understand what they're going through and how to, of course, enroll those kids into programs that will make them future leaders in our society. Now, you talk about tablets. It's a program that you developed where you want to make sure that every child have a tablet in their hand. How successful have that been?
Oh, that has been absolutely successful. And we used to, our motto of the organization used to be a book in every child's hand and a computer in every classroom. But the challenges that we've had over the last 10 years with government and customs bringing in books and computers, which are actually shipped free of cost by Dennis Shipping to our doorstep. And we started using tablets or just about 5 years ago. And of course, a tablet holds all the books you can get. Books itself are becoming obsolete. And the tablet was just a good chance for us to teach the children through electronics. So we've been doing this, of course, our background is we have given away more than 4 million books, graduated more than 2,000 persons from free computer classes, and tablet just came in handy. So far, we've graduated over 1,500 children and parents over the last 4 years through our tablet classes. And we find that it's a lot better. Children seem to grasp to it. At the end of the class, each child is awarded, if they are successful, a 7-inch tablet. On each tablet has our Bible, our national pledge, our national encyclopedia, of course the Bible, and each child has to learn how to use it in the proper way. Because as you know, electronics, and especially a tablet like our cell phone, can be used for the wrong reasons. Plus, there's a set of do's and don'ts. Boys should not wear the pants below the waist. Girls have to dress appropriately. Anger management, proper parenthood, each one teach one, and a whole host of other things that they have to learn. Khan Academy, a revolutionary way of teaching maths and science, plus a whole host of other things that we believe that will help the children in their learning process. So far, we've had many A students. We won the spelling bee. One of our children won the spelling bee. We are featured in television where some of our children won the television competition. And much more we have been able to accomplish over these few years since we've been doing our program.
Now, one of the greatest things that I see that I love is the fact that you said, of course, by doing what you're doing, you can help reduce crime in the country and provide opportunities for young men and women to see. And of course, the tablet program is very, very beautiful because you're teaching them about their heritage and their culture and also enlightening them on how they can become successful young men and women. I mean, one of the things you see, Dr. Wellington, is the fact that a lot of these young men are being dragged into the wrong side of the law because they're now wearing their pants below their waist. And here you are, your program as a stalwart in our educational system where we're teaching our young men, especially, to be leaders, to be, men who stood up, take care of their women, learn to be family members and stuff in that nature. And it's a wonderful thing. And of course, we do applaud you for that. Has it been a way in which you see that it's really helping the government per se to say, okay, we're going to help reduce crime with this sector?
Yes, indeed. But I also want to make mention the fact that one of the things that we teach there, of course, we're fighting crime through education. One of the things I teach all the parents is that your best investment is in your children. I did exactly that, and I'm using actually my life story of where I came from to whence I am now. And I'm invested in my children, and all of my children have been successful based on the investment or the time I took up. I've never missed a parent-teachers meeting all those years, although in between I've been fortunate enough to have traveled to over 160 countries. And with that background, I've gained a lot of knowledge, and I share that knowledge with all our students and parents. And my story is, I came from very humble beginnings. Here I am shaking the President of the United States hand, going to the United Nations, meeting all those dignitaries, and traveling to all these countries. And my story is simple this. If I can do it, so can you. And here is how. So everything in my brain, I try to teach every one of my students and parents. I said, you can do it, especially in the age of technology, which is in your hand. You have $1 million in your hand by having this piece of equipment if you use it properly. If you use it for the wrong reasons, of course, you're going to get this, your result. But I teach them how to use that piece of equipment in a positive way. And there's also an incentive-based program based to it. If a child does well, I am able to get them to a day pass of other participating hotels in the NEGRIL area. And also, the ultimate goal is those who do extremely well are able to get sponsorship to go to Orlando and Florida to visit Epcot Center in Disney World and visit the University of Central Florida. And we have up to 3 trips per year now. And a couple of years ago, the Japanese students came to our classes 2 years in a row, and we were invited last year to go to Japan. I took 10 of my students there, and last year it was such a successful program that they came back within the last 8 weeks, or 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. They'd like to do it again. And we met in our mayor's office in Savalamar, who was twinned Westmoreland with Tottori, Japan, in which my son, 2 years in a row, has run the marathon representing Jamaica and Westmoreland there. And I've been on 3 trips to Japan, and we're about to do the 4th one. However, it's been canceled based on, what's happening now with the virus that's going around. But so that's some of the things that we've been doing, and we've been very, very successful at it. And we just would love the opportunity to spread this right across the island. I believe if every child has an opportunity to go through the rituals of our class, which is totally incentive-based, they would be a better outlet on fighting crime through education.
And that is so true. And but before we get into more of the programs that you do, I mean, you talk about growing up from humble beginnings and meeting the president and going to so many different countries. You have children of your own. You have 3 boys, and you practically raise them by yourself. How was that like?
It was quite challenging, but interesting. Is something I love, and if I have the chance to do it again, I'll do the same thing. Because, of course, we teach love, and we have a very loving family. Even at age 34 and 35, my sons come in the room, they come over to dad and give him a big kiss. So that's the kind of loving that and everything that I did with my children, I teach to my students and their parents. If I can do it, here's how. Because your best investment in your children for you to get the result that I've gotten. And I said everything about my life I share and say that if I was a dumb little kid, as far as I'm concerned. And if I'm able to rise up to the position I'm in now, I'm saying to you, a lot of these parents and children was much smarter than I am when I was their age. And I'm saying, you can do it. All you got to do is follow the instruction and be dedicated, spend the time, invest in your children, teach your children how to love each other, and all of that program that we do. So that was just one of those things that I said I had to share. I was fortunate enough to be on Ian Bowen's show, and I believe it was he who asked me, why do you do the things you do? Because I said the same thing I want to my children, I want to every other child. And that's one of the questions behind the things I do.
And that's so beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to Mr. Winston Wellington, Chairman of NEGRIL Education Environmental Trust, known as Neet. He's also Governor General's Award winner and honoree for Marcus Garvey Lifetime Achievement Award, and many more. This man has been doing so much in his lifetime, and he's pledged and given back. He's now a humanitarian, a philanthropist, and of course a leader in every aspect of education for children. Now, Mr. Wellington, I mean, you growing up now, you have seen so much through education. You have an engineering degree, and of course you've done so much as an entrepreneur. What was it like? Because you went to England and also living in New York, you started a taxi business there, and where you started working on your own and developed more of an entrepreneurship skill. Tell us, how did that go?
Well, like I said, when I went to England, I went through what I think was a Windrush generation, in which I got caught up in that situation and not knowing anything about what was going on, just to find out that as a young man, they were targeting people, young men from the Caribbean and Africa as well, who were of a different pigmentation and doing negative things to you, even actually thrown in jail. It was a deliberate situation. I had thought at one time it was just an unfortunate situation that happened to me, but I was on a cruise not so long ago, and I met a gentleman, and he started telling me about the Windrush generation and what was being done there deliberately, and he'd even recommend repatriation for the stuff that has been done to people of color there living in England. And he wanted me to go back and try and make claims on it. However, the best I could do for him was give him an interview in which he's going to put it in a book, and I mentioned my name in it, the fact that I had to go through those atrocities to come out of it and be the person I am today. And of course, going to England, I worked at Ford Motor Company in Dagenham for a while. My father was a pastor here in New Jersey, and he was able to get me a job at Ford's Motor Company in Metuchen, New Jersey, and I came over and I started working for Ford's. And within a year after that, one of my friends in New York gave me a taxi to drive, and I drove it. This was all in the year of 1968, 69. And then I became an owner. We opened our own taxi cab business, car service to be exact, Winstone Car Service, who is celebrating its 51st year this year. I no longer own it. I sold it to my driver some 10 years ago, but it's still around, and it's one of those things that we're very proud of. Out of that car service, more than 10,000 taxi cab have passed through it. I was the president of the Taxi Cab Association for 25 years, and like I said to you, we have done some wonderful work in terms of being a part of what's happening in New York City. And I'm so proud of it that I've allowed others to pass through. Over the years, I've brought in more than 10,000 people, not just from Jamaica, from other parts of the world, coming through our company. So that's another thing I'm very, very proud of. And since I've been back to Jamaica, I've successfully got over 1,000 persons visited in the United States and having a better life. So that's part of the background that I have with me.
And that is so wonderful. Now, tell us more about some of the programs that you have, because all this educational system came under the umbrella arm of NAJASO. Tell us, how did you get that connection with the two, and how you've been such an inspiration for others?
Yes, I think it's over 10 years now or so. I hooked up with NAJASO. I had started my organization, Neet, and I had other friends who had other organizations, and the thought of others working together as a non-profit organization, giving back to Jamaica, came to me. Then I found out about NAJASO, and instead of forming my own group of non-profit organization, I took along others with me, such as Dennis Shipping, such as Kids on Keyboard, such as School News Nationwide. All of us joined up together at the same time. I brought that group with me to join NAJASO, because it didn't make sense starting other groups, to do the same thing that we're all doing. So it was a pleasure for me to be a part of NAJASO and to be the representative for education in Jamaica for NAJASO.
Now, many people hear the name NAJASO. You who have the experience and the knowledge of what it's all about, give us, in your take, what exactly is NAJASO?
National Association of Jamaica and Supportive Organization, which claims to almost over 100 different non-profit organizations that give back to Jamaica. And there are many aspects of it. There are such as health, education, and other stuff that we do for Jamaica. Given that, out of California, we have another organization that's there, and they just recently they donated some 50 school bags to our organization, led by Mr. Patrick Williams, who's the head of that organization. And there are many other organizations. Read Across Jamaica is another organization that belongs. Help Jamaica Medical Mission, Caribbean Medical Mission. All these are different organizations that belong to NAJASO. And we in NEGRIL try to host most of these organizations when they come to Jamaica. And it's all about giving back. It's all about making our country a better place to live in. And we applaud NAJASO for the work they've been doing over the years. They've been around for almost 30 years, and it's just a wonderful pleasure to be a part of the organization.
And I saw something that was very touching. Part of your medical mission, where they have the mission of sight. A young man was having problems in school, and they found out that it's because he wasn't seeing that well. And you have a mission doing, of course, where you give glasses to students. How is that coming along?
Yes, that's founded by a good friend of mine. He's actually here in Fort Lauderdale. His name is Mr. Gary Robinson. I also brought him into NAJASO, and he has Cornerstone Jamaica, and he came out there with a machine that tested the children's eyes, and I was a part of a program working with him, and he's developed it in such a way that it's going right across the island, testing children. I took him to a school one day, and he looked around and he said to me, "None of these children are wearing glasses. Something is wrong." So he came back with his machine, and we tested these children and found out that at least 25% of the children needed glasses. And hence it started working with Mission of Sight, another organization that we linked up with. Neet, NEGRIL Education Environmental Trust, donated the first 1,000 blocks to build that facility in Frome. It's a state-of-the-art eye clinic, and it's just been doing wonderful, wonderful work. We work along with the Rotary Club, who also send down nurses and doctors who do teeth, you fix your teeth here too. So that's part of the program that we work with.
Very wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, you're again listening to Mr. Winston Wellington. Again, he's the chairman for NEGRIL Education and Environment Trust. It's called Neet. JA.com if you want to find out, NEET. Now, besides all this great work that you've done, you're also an entrepreneur by being a hotelier, because you open up the Travelers Beach Hotel in NEGRIL. Tell us, how did that get started?
I was a travel agent for many, many years, and that's how come I've been able to see so many countries by going on many different fam trips around the world. And then I came to NEGRIL in the 80s, and I fell in love with NEGRIL. And of course, being a travel agencies become the mom and pop travel agent was going out of business. Because the first thing they did was cut your commission, and next thing they know, they took away the commissions. And we see the next progression from being a travel agent for me, and with the exposure that I've had, was in the hotel business. So I bought this parcel of land in NEGRIL and opened up in 1994 with just 3 cabins. And while I'm running the car service, I'm running here and there, making sure I take care of my kids in school. And the first 5 years, I spent approximately 1 week out of every month. And when my children were in school, I did the reverse. At least 3 weeks out of every month I'd spend there and watch my children go through college. And when 8 years ago, I retired and I gave my children the hotel, and they have been doing a fantastic job in running it. They keep the place full almost all the time. And like I said, it's in 2015, I believe, we got the award for the best small hotel in Jamaica through Expedia. So they've been doing a fantastic job. But the hotel business is something that we grew out from 3 rooms to 60 of the finest rooms you can find in Jamaica are there right now.
Wow, that's beautiful. We got to go there one day. Now, you've done so much, Mr. Wellington. Of course, you continue to impress people in many aspects of life, and especially the children. And that's what I love about this program, and we're definitely going to be a part of it and help promote it, because Jamaica needs these things, especially in times like this. I mean, sad to say we're going through the coronavirus thing, but at the same time, we need to come together as a country and unite not only our people, men and women, but our children. So often we forget what our children means to us and the things that they've done in this world, and we're here to make sure that we are, of course, set an example and help them, because that's what it's all about, and that's what you're doing with Neet. And people need to get involved and help, because you're not only a philanthropist, you're also a humanitarian, you're a leader, entrepreneur, you're a teacher and a father. You name it, you're it, because you are the man, and that's why you won so many awards. And of course, we are proud of you. We're so thankful for the things that you've done and for making Jamaica what it is, Ben, because a lot of times when you look on the news and hear all these crazy things, it's all negative. But here's something positive that needs to be highlighted, and this work that you're doing. And we do thank you, sir. Now, before we go, let us know where we can go and see more information, media site, website, social media contacts, and how we can be a part of this and help you in the process that you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. But a couple of things that I'd like to add to what I've said so far. We also have an environmental situation here, because last week we had beach cleanup where I had over 100 children and parents come out and clean up the beach. We do this 3 times a year. We also teach the children about environment. Every child has to plant a tree of each class that we have. They get a chance to go out in the reef and learn about the reef and our environment. And they themselves have to save their money, and we take them to the Clifton Boys Home to give back. And the other thing that we teach them very diligently are the 4 Ps. Whatever you're passionate about, you pray in it, you practice it, and have patience and let God do this work. So these are some of the things that we've done. Our website is neetja.com. And it's also our other site that we have on YouTube, our YouTube site. Our telephone number, local telephone number, will get us there at Neet location, is 718-514-6031. Our local number is 876-957-3683. And one other thing I'd love to add is that because of the virus now, everyone has to be learning from home. So the tablet program becomes so essential, because we're teaching now electronically. Because I've been advocating virtual classrooms over the last 5 years, and here it is. It's here and now. And that's what we're trying to do. So we ask everyone to join us in this quest to continue to educate our children, even though they may be at home. But that's where we are with education in Jamaica and around the world as well.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Wellington. Of course, the man has been doing so much, and of course, you heard it. It's www.neet, NETja.com. That's the website. Go on there, see how you can be a part of it, how you can help support some of these lovely children. They also have a St. Anthony's Soup Kitchen. I mean, he's teaching these young men and women how to be real responsible individuals and citizens of Jamaica. And the job has been exceptional. And like you said, he's taking care of his son. One more last thing before you go. Your son, one of your son runs in the marathon. Is he up to 6 yet? I was reading something about that.
Yeah, Winthrop. His quest is to run all the world marathon. And because of the virus, he's unable to do Japan. But he has gone and run in Germany and many other places. He has done the marathon. Like I said, he's gone twice to Torrey.
Boston.
And I know, of course, he's done Boston, Chicago. You're so right. And he'd like to do all the world marathon. So he's doing fantastically well. He's trained 2 students to take his place, which he is about to take to Japan to represent Jamaica. But again, because of the virus, that has been canceled.
Oh, wow. And of course, we wish him the well. And of course,
his own YouTube channel, that's Trop, T-H-R-O-P, that's Winthrop. You can go there, and he's been an inspiration to many young folks, because I bring him in my classes and I told him what discipline is all about. That he has to get up every morning at 4 o'clock and do 20 miles. And I teach my children that's what it takes, discipline to do this. If you can do that, you can do it. Anything, you can be anything you want to be. It takes discipline.
And it sure does. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Winston Wellington, chairman of Neet, NEGRIL Education Environment Trust in Jamaica, and is doing such a wonderful job. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And this is an open arm for you. Anything you want to discuss or any development, please feel free to call us. We'll give you the platform and the time, and we'll, of course, look out for everything that you do and support every effort just to make our country better. Thank you again, and God bless you in all that you do.
Thank you, and God bless you too and your audience. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The man, of course, he's been doing so much. Mr. Winston Wellington, right there for you and yours on 88.1 FM WESU in Middletown. As we continue with tribute to our women for the month of March, and this is something that you want to go. Again, the website is www.neetja.com. So again, lots of great things happening in our community, so make sure you support. Again, folks, we're going to have Dr. Karen Dunkley on the line some other time to talk about the Northeast Diaspora, what we're doing, and the whole coronavirus thing. Get a couple of doctors on the air so they can, clear some things up. Go on the website. You'll see it. Every hospital have it. All over social media, you'll see how you can, of course, make sure you keep yourself sanitized. Wash your hands as much as possible. And I got to say, big up to LONGMORE. LONGMORE told me something that I haven't seen. They tell you to wash your hands for 20 seconds. But here's what. She's a nurse now, so she reminded me of this. When they tell you to wash your hands and count from 1 to 20 or sing happy birthday, notice they are not telling you to clean your nails. Get under your fingernails. That's where most germs are, all right? So that's from a nurse, one of our fellow DJs here at WESU, LONGMORE. Big up yourself, LONGMORE. As we continue right here, 88.1 FM WESU, we continue with our women, and they're overcoming in everything that they do. Big up to June Archer. These women have been doing so much. The 100 Women of Color is coming up in April. Let's see if that gets canceled or it's still going on. Remember, school is canceled for the next 2 weeks in most areas, all right? So keep it locked right here as we continue and do more for you and yours.